So my name is Willa Knight. I am in the applications records section, directly in public inquiry. So if you call into our office, I am one of the people that would be taking your phone call. I am going to be talking about what you need to know to get an application ready to file. So what we get a lot of times are people who call and say, I need a start card so I can drill a well. Okay, well, this is what you need to do to be able to get a start card. So, okay, so what we're gonna discuss the water right policy by area, the readiness for filing a complete application. We're gonna do an introduction to public land survey. We're going to discuss duty, diversion, and other calculations, and we will also talk about making an application map. And I'll take questions as we go. So policy by area. Teresa covered this a little. There is a map of an interactive map on the lower right-hand corner of our main website. And if you click on that map on the website, it will make it bigger so you can see. And then you would click on whatever area here you are looking at for wanting to know the policy for that area. It will give you basic information for that area, including water rights, and we're going to actually we're going to go into 23 area, which is Rich County, just to kind of show you what this will have. So if I click on that 23 area, it will bring it up in green here. And then this is actually the policy page. If there are decrees or groundwater management plans or anything for this area, there will be links here, and we'll talk about it here. The sources here is going to tell you if the area is open to new applications, or if you're going to need to file change applications. And whoops, you can roll it too, James. You didn't tell me that. So. Or down lower, there's links to technical publications or other types of information that we would have. And each part of the state would have a policy page depending on where you click. Now, if you click on the map again in that green area, it will bring up a little bit more, let's go through this, a little bit more detailed area. If you're not sure which area you're in, you can bring up this map and, I'm outside, I'm actually going to be in the neighboring area, or yes, I am going to be in this area. You click that again and it will go away. But that just helps you know when you're in a specific area what type of application you can file and what policies are for that area. So what type of details do you need to file an application? So there are elements common to all applications that we do require. We have to know the applicant's name, their mailing address, and if there's more than one owner on this water right, we need to know what their interest is for that water right. We need to know the source of water. Are you wanting to put a pump directly in the river, or is there a spring that you're wanting to develop, or are you wanting to drill a well? That is a very big part of your application. We need to know the amount of water you want to file on, or if you're doing a change application or an exchange of application, how much water you have to work with. And so the cubic feet per second is the flow, or the volume would be the acre foot amount that will be diverted. You need to know the point of diversion or the approximate point of diversion. At this point, your application is considered a proposal, so it's just going to be the approximate location, but you do want to get as close as possible so that you are not having to do like an amendatory change as part of the proof process to bring your actual use into alignment with what you put on your application. So the point of diversion is actually where you are diverting the water from its natural source. So for instance, there's a river here, and you're going to put a pump here, and then you're going to ditch it over to here, and then you're going to divert from the ditch onto your field to irrigate. Your point of diversion is where you are taking it out of the river, not where you're taking it out of the ditch. So that is a good distinction that you need to be aware of. Where are you taking the water from its natural source? The beneficial use of the water. How are you going to use it? I actually yesterday had a phone call from someone who says, I have clients that want to file a change application. So I tried to ask him basic information. Okay, how much water do they have? What uses are they going to put that water to? He says, well, I don't know. They're out of state. So I don't know what they have. I'm relying on you to tell me. I'm like, it's not my application. I can't tell you how they want to use the water or where they want to use the water. That has to come from the professionals if you're working with clients or the applicants themselves. We cannot, I mean, we have a lot of knowledge here, but we have to have basic information that you give us. So, and also another thing you need is place of use. Where is this beneficial use going to occur? Okay, an application map is also a requirement of your application unless it's for a municipal system. Municipalities, we do not require maps every time they file an application. We need signatures of all owners listed on the water right. And there is a filing fee for all these types of applications, starting at $150, but it's based on the amount of water you're filing on. But the minimum on an application to use water, I mean, like extensions or anything else has a different filing fee, but your filing fee for applications themselves start at $150. Okay, so what else do you need to know? So the basis of the water right. What type of application are you going to file? If it's new water, it's going to be an application to appropriate. Okay, if it's an existing water right and you're changing something other than ownership of that water right, it will be a change application or a permanent change application or a temporary change application. Okay, if you have contractual water, and the one we most see and that has been mentioned here most often is the Weber Basin Water Conservancy District. If you have a contract with them, then you will be filing an exchange application. And then the other option is if you have shares in an irrigation company that you're going to base your well permit on, then you have the shares in the company. The company actually owns the water right, but you are a shareholder, so the irrigation company will be a party to your change application and will need to sign the change application. Again, you need to know the points of diversion, place of use, nature of use. There's a lot of mistakes, well, similar mistakes that we see quite often. If you're filing a change application, or if it's based on a contract, or if you're a shareholder in a company, your name has to be on that document that's the basis of your application. So if you're filing a change application on an existing water right, but that existing water rights on our records is showing a previous owner, you cannot file your change application until you update our records to show that you do own that water right. As Chris kind of went over, that could be a fairly easy process, or it could be involved and take months to do, depending on if you're having to do a complete chain of title, clear back from the original filer of the water right, or in the question that was brought up, what if you have to go through quiet title action through the courts before you can show that you do own that water right. So all of that has to be taken care of before you do your change application. If you're a shareholder in the company, if you purchased a stock certificate from your neighbor, you have to take that stock certificate to that irrigation company, have a new stock certificate issued in your name before you can use that as the basis of your water right. Same with the contract with Weber Basin or whatever entity, your name needs to be on that. You have to show, if you are filing that application, you have to be the owner of record in order to do that. Any questions so far? Yes. Yes, okay, wait, oh, we have two here. Wait for the mic, please.
If a shareholder wants to sell a share of water out of an irrigation company, does the company have to let them sell it?
That would depend on the company and what their bylaws state, and we don't regulate that. So that would be individual companies' answer would be, I mean, you'd have to go to the individual company to see what their policy is for that.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Was there another question?
Forgive my ignorance, but what's a soft certificate?
Okay, so
What is a soft
a
certificate?
stock certificate?
I don't know. You just said it just a moment ago.
Well, then I misspoke. A stock certificate. I'm a little nervous, okay? So, stock certificate, yeah, and I had the mic under my chin, so I've hopefully fixed that. Okay. A start card is what your well driller needs in order to legally start drilling your well. And you get a start card at the end of your application process. If your application is approved and if you're filing to drill a new well, then a start card should be included with your order of the state engineer. Okay? Any other questions? Okay. So on some change applications that are on existing water rights, you might need to do a segregation. So a segregation, it would be if you have a large water right that is not going to be included in your change application, you only want to file a change application on a portion of the water right, you have to split off that portion of the water right before you can file the change. The change application is going to be on the full limit of the water right you're filing the change application on. Another reason you would need a segregation would be if you are one of several owners on a water right and not all of the water right owners are going to be a party to your change application, you would need to split your portion off to file a change application on your portion. Also, proper evaluation needs to be done on your water right. And I believe the next presentation is going to talk about water use groups and supplemental rights, and that's part of where this proper evaluation comes in. If you have a water use group that is involved, that more than one water right is involved in that group, and it says it is unevaluated, you cannot file a change application until proper evaluation is done, and Clark will address that, I believe, that part of it. I don't, right? Okay. But on a segregation, so again, we are splitting a water right. There's an existing water right and you want a portion of it split off. So whether it's your interest in a water right so that you can file an application, or another one is, okay, you say there was a small 4-lot subdivision that has been approved, and you bought one of the lots and your house is built and you're ready to submit proof on your lot, but the other 3 lots are not developed, you can segregate your portion so that you can file proof on your portion and leave those other 3 lots still waiting to be developed, and then you are not held to them being developed before you can submit your proof. So that would be another reason for a segregation. Irrigation shares, that again is a stock certificate, and those are not referred to as segregations. Those are referred to share statements, but it's the same idea. You are taking a small chunk of the irrigation company's water right and giving yourself a water right number, which then you can file a change application on that. That would be based on the number of shares you have on your stock certificate, and what usage you're going to put the water to. That would help determine that, but that is called a share statement, so it's not actually a segregation. And then also some people, just if they're listed with several other owners on a water right and they just want to be separated from them, they can file a segregation for no other reason than to just get their own water right number. Let's see, yeah, not all segregations are easy, not all are equal, not all are clean. There might be some background work that needs to be done before a segregation can be processed. So if you file one that has issues, there might be a delay in getting that processed while we get those issues resolved. This is the segregation, request to segregate a water right form. It is found on our applications forms link from our homepage. The elements that we look at for segregating a water right is it will start with the water right number, and this number will then be referred to as the parent right, okay? The owner of, let's go down here, the amount of water and the uses. Now, if the water right you're looking at is stating it's unevaluated, it's going to tell you here, I think we've updated the form to tell you unevaluated cannot split. that's assigned to you that says, oh, back up, I need to do some work before I can file this. But if all this comes up okay and this matches what you know to be the water right, then we can move on. This particular water right that we're looking at also has a change application. And so when you segregate a water right with a pending change application, that pending change application also does need to be segregated. And so there's that here where you can do that. The water amount and the uses for that change application will be reflected there. This is all from the parent right. And then over here is going to be what you are. So this side autofills from our database. This side is what you are going to fill out to tell us what you are segregating, the water amount and the uses on the water right and on the change application. The owners of record will be listed here. And you can click which owner you are that you're wanting to segregate so that it does print here. If you're listed as joint tenants, you both need to sign. If it's in a trust, we need a trustee signature. If it's in a corporation, we need to know what, I mean, are you the manager? Or just to kind of verify. We don't follow through, but just kind of verify that you are authorized to sign for the company. But then you would sign here. This number now is the child water right number. That is your new water right number, and we will fill that out as when we process your segregation request. Any questions on segregations? Okay. Okay, now we're going to go into public land survey. Basically, our whole system is based on public land survey. So the state of Utah is broken down into two grids, which was talked about a little bit. We have the Salt Lake Basin Meridian, and we have the Uinta Special Basin Meridian. Right now, we're going to talk mostly about Salt Lake Basin Meridian. We have, so the Basin Meridian for Salt Lake starts at Temple Square. And a typical township, about 6 miles square area, and it goes north and south. Okay, it also, the range would go east and west, again, starting at Temple Square. So from Temple Square, 6 miles north is Township 1 North. 6 miles south in that area is Township 1 South. Same with the east and west. You're going Township East, Township West. Okay, and then you can break that down even more. Let's look. So in each township and range, typically there are 36 sections as depicted here. And this is if it's perfectly flat land. If you're in a mountain range or if there's a river that bisects it, then those would be atypical sections and would have might have a lot instead of sections or something along those lines. But for our purposes here, we're going to just pretend this is perfectly flat valley, okay? And so this township and range of 2 South, Township 2 South, Range 2 West is going to look like this and have 36 sections. Say, well, we own property in Section 13, so we're going to look at that, and that section now can be broken down into quarter sections, okay? And so this would be the northeast, the northwest, the southeast, and the southwest of Section 13. And then you can break the quarter sections down into quarter sections. So this would be the northeast of the northeast. This one would be the northwest of the northeast. This is how you describe your place of use on the applications. And this would be like a 40-acre tract or a quarter section or quarter section. Okay, this slide will probably be very helpful to you tomorrow. Okay, just throwing that out there. So I can't, the camera's right in the way, but a section is typically a 1 mile square area containing 640 acres. Okay, and then you're breaking it down into the quarter sections to narrow it down a little bit. Okay, so each section then has section corners, and that's where you begin your measurement. So we have the northeast quarter, and even though this really isn't in a corner, we say it's the north quarter corner, northwest corner, west quarter corner, and so on. So these would be, when you're reading a point of diversion or a place of use, it's going to tell you which quarter section you're starting from. Okay. Now, here are the two different basin meridians. Since the Salt Lake Basin Meridian does cover most of the state, that is our default on our computer system. So if you are wanting to file an application for the Duchesne area and you bring an application to us, we are probably the biggest culprit of not remembering to change the basin meridian. But it is the applicant's responsibility to make sure their application is correct, so you need to double check us. And the reason for that is, okay, this is roughly Temple Square. That is the beginning point of the Salt Lake Basin Meridian. Uinta Special is roughly 9 miles north of Roosevelt, and that is over here. So if you are plotting out your point of diversion for your new well location and you forget, or we forget to change that default basin meridian to Salt Lake Basin Meridian, you think you're filing in Duchesne County here, this is actually where you want to drill your well. If we don't change that, your application actually looks like it's going to be in Willa. We will advertise it in Willa. The protest period will be in Willa. At some point, hopefully, we will realize the mistake before too long, but once we realize that, we will have to fix our database and start all over with advertising and the protest period and all of that. So it is very important to know that if you are going to be in the Uinta Special Basin Meridian, that is what your application states, and that we remember to change that on our computer. Any questions on that? Okay, so we're going to practice filing place of use a little bit. So when you are reading a description, you read it kind of backwards. So we are going to start from the east quarter corner, okay? East quarter corner. We're going to go south 500 feet, and we're going to go west 1,200 feet. So our point of diversion is going to plot there, okay? So that is what you would put on for your point of diversion. So say we want to start at the southeast corner. We're going to go north 2,000 feet, and we're not going east or west. It's just going to stay on that township line. That will be our point of diversion. So say we're going to start from the northwest corner. We're going to go south 1,300 feet and east 4,000 feet. This will be your point of diversion. So it's all, you start with, when you're reading it, you start with the quarter, or the section the section corner, and then you're taking your measurements from there. Okay. So now, yes, microphone. Okay.
Are those squares 500 feet?
These would be the quarter sections, and they are 1,350 feet, right? For the quarter section? It says it on there. Oh, 240. From there to there is 240. If you're going halfway, it's 1,350. But you're talking a 1 mile section, okay, 1 more mile square, and you've broken it down into quarter sections, okay? Any other questions? Okay. Okay, so now we are going to, that was point of diversion. Now we're going to do the marking of the place of use. So this is where you're going to go quarter section by the quarter section. So this is a section. So this would be the northeast, northwest, southeast, southwest. Say we want the northwest quarter of the northwest quarter. Okay, that's going to be this. Now, this line, this grid is broken down a little more to help you more, but as far as the applications go, this is as small as you get on the applications themselves when you're typing it out or entering it into the computer or whatever, okay? So, but if it's going to be an area larger, you don't have to say like the southeast and the southwest of the southwest. You can say this is going to be the south half of the southwest, which will then be that, okay? Or if we're staying in the southwest quarter, again, you're reading backwards because this is the larger, and then this would be the smaller. So we're in the southwest quarter, and then we're going to go in the northeast quarter of the southwest quarter, okay? Now, say you have a large ranch, and it's going to be more than just in 1 quarter sections, but so you're going to say in the northwest quarter, it's going to be the south half, and in the northeast quarter, it's going to be the south half, and so your place of use will look like that. Any questions on that? Okay. Okay, so now we're going to do basic water right calculations. The irrigation duty map was shown to you earlier. I don't have a slide showing the irrigation duty, but for our purposes, everything I'm going to do in my presentation, we are going to assume a 4 acre-foot per acre duty. Okay. So again, definition of a cubic feet per second is a unit of measure used to quantify the rate of flow from a water source, okay? The acre feet amount is the volume, okay? And an acre foot amount is 1 acre of land with water a foot deep, okay? So due to calculations, you get the number of acres that you're wanting to irrigate, and you times it by the irrigation duty for that area. That will give you the acre-foot amount you are limited to for that irrigation portion for the year, or in reality, it's for the irrigation season. Okay. The irrigation duty, as shown to you earlier, does vary by area. Some are like the mountainous areas that you don't need as much water. It could be 3 acre-feet per acre. The dry deserty could be 6 acre-feet per acre. Soil, the type of soil it is, could help determine the duty for that specific area. There are decrees that that specifically cite a duty for a certain area. Domestic, the standard full-time domestic is 0.45. Part-time domestic is 0.25. Livestock, equivalent livestock unit is a large animal, horse or cow. Each horse or cow is 0.028 acre-foot per animal per year. Okay, we do prorate by the size of the animal. So 5 medium-sized animals, sheep, goats, pigs, 5 of those equals 1 large animal, which would be a cow or a horse, or 33 1/3 chickens. Where you get the third chicken, I don't know. But that would be equal to 1 cow also. So we do prorate. I know there are other livestock. We had somebody who wanted emu. Well, we do have a table available on our website that will narrow some of those down. What was it, cardinals that was mentioned earlier? Sparrows? I have no idea what that would be. So hopefully Andrew has that somewhere, that if that ever comes up again, we will have that information. Okay, so we're going to do a couple of sample problems. Again, we are going to assume for all of these sample problems, the irrigation duty is going to be 4 acre-feet per acre for the area we're going to be in. So for this one, say a rancher wants to start a farm near Dugway, Utah, which is going to be in Area 16 or the West Desert. How much water does he need for 5 acres of irrigation, 50 cattle for year-round, and a full-time home? Okay, so again, 4 acre-feet per acre is the irrigation duty. So you're going to take the number of acres and you're going to times it by that irrigation duty to get the acre-feet amount for that use. And then for the livestock, that's the cattle, it's 0.028 times the number of livestock will give you the acre-foot amount for that portion of your project. And then the domestic, which is the 0.45. You add those together to get the total acre-foot amount for your project, okay? And it's for this project, and it's going to be 21.85 acre-feet. When you add all of that together, that's the total water amount you need for this project. Any questions on that? This one's pretty straightforward. Okay. So sample problem number 2. A rancher has a water right for 300 cattle. How many sheep can he provide for with this water right? So the sheep is a medium-sized animal. So you take the 300 cattle and you're going to times it by 5 because it's 5 sheep per 1 cow. So he can water 1,500 sheep. So if this rancher did have 300 cattle and he's changing to 1,500 sheep, does he need a change application with us? No. Because to us, it doesn't matter. He has a stock watering right, and as long as he knows the limits for the equivalent livestock for what he has, it's still a livestock right, and he does not need to file a change application with us. Okay? Now, if he wants to call us and say, hey, I can run 300 cattle, what does that equate to in sheep? We can help him with that. tell him it's 5 sheep per cow, but he does not need to file a change application in this scenario. Okay, number 3, a developer wants to build a 10-lot subdivision in Delta. Each lot is supposed to have enough water for a 1/4 acre of irrigation. And again, let me just state, irrigation is lawn, flower bed, garden, field, any outside watering is considered irrigation, okay? So 1/4 acre irrigation, 2 horses, and a full-time home. How much diversion will the water right need to have? Okay, so we're going to break it down. We're going to start with, okay, how much does each lot need? Okay, so again, 4 acre-feet per acre, so a 1/4 acre irrigation in a 4 irrigation duty area, he needs 1 acre-foot for the irrigation portion. For the 2 horses, it's going to be 0.028 times 2, so 0.056 acre-feet for the livestock, and the house is 0.45. Okay, so add that together, and each lot needs 1.506 acre-feet. And then he's going to have 10 lots, so so the total project is going to be 15.06 acre-feet is the amount of water he will need for all 10 lots. Okay? Any questions on that one? Okay. Number 4, say a farmer has a water right in Brigham City that serves 150 cattle year-round. He wants to change the water rights to supply 1 full-time home, 1 part-time home. He wants to keep 10 horses, and he wants to use the rest of the water for irrigation. So what we have to do here is figure out, okay, how much water does he have left, and how much irrigation can he have on that amount of water left? So we're starting with 150 head of livestock. So how much water does that equate to? 150 times 0.028 is going to be 4.2 acre-feet. That is our beginning water amount. We cannot go over that water amount with our uses. Full-time home is the 0.45. The part-time home is 0.25. The 10 horses is going to be 0.28. Okay, that added together is going to be the 0.98, which I did not include that. 0.98 is the total acre-foot amount for those 3 uses. We're going to subtract that total amount from our beginning total of 4.2 acre-feet to find out we have 3.22 acre-feet to devote to the irrigation portion. Well, how much land will 3.22 acre-feet cover? This is an irrigation duty of 4, so in this instance, we're going to divide that acre-foot amount by 4, and he can irrigate 0.805 acre of land. Okay, any questions? Okay. Okay, diversion depletion. I hate this one. Okay, diversion is the amount of water that is removed from the source to be used. Okay, it's usually an acre-foot amount. In an irrigation duty of 4 acre-feet per acre, you want to irrigate 1 acre of land. Your diversion amount is the 4 acre-feet. Okay, depletion is the amount of water that is consumed after you apply the water to its beneficial use. So, for example, after diverting the 4 acre-feet and you irrigate your 1 acre of land, only roughly 2 acre-feet of water returns to the natural system. It'll either percolate down into the groundwater, it might flow back into the ditch if you're flood irrigating, or it might flow back into the river. The other 2 acre-feet either was consumed by the crop or it was lost through evaporation. So your depletion amount is the amount that is actually consumed and not returned to the natural source. Okay. So when evaluating a change applications, now applications to appropriate, we don't worry about depletion because it's new water. There's been no historic depletion, so you don't need to worry about that. But on change applications, we do have to take into account the starting diversion amount and the starting depletion amount. And you have to account for both. Both have to balance. You cannot enlarge either one. And this is where it gets tricky and that haircuts come in, or what is termed a haircut. So say a water right owner has a water right for 3 acres of irrigation, 4 acre duty. He wants to change the use to include 50 head of livestock. Okay. Livestock is considered 100% depleted. And depending on what part of the state you are in, it's roughly 50% depleted for irrigation, but this was the Camas area and is actually 53% depleted, okay? So how many acre feet of water will he be able to divert after his change application? So the starting amount is the 3 acres with 53% depletion. Okay, so that's the first thing you do. What are our beginning numbers? 3 acres of irrigation times 4 acre feet duty, you have 12 acre feet that you can divert from the source. Okay, and the depletion amount is going to be 53% of that diversion amount, which is 6.36 acre feet. Are you with me so far? That's a little more than half, so a little more than 50%, so that makes sense, okay? So now we have to figure the proposed uses to see if it's going to be in balance with both of those, okay? So he wants to change to 50 head of livestock. So you times that by the 0.028, and it's going to be 1.4 acre foot, 100% consumptive use, okay? We start with the 6.36 acre feet depletion. We subtract out the consumed part of the hereafter use, which is the 100% of the 1.4. So our depletion we have left to work with is 4.96 acre feet. So we cannot, our irrigation cannot deplete more than that on our hereafter acreage amount. Okay, so the 4.96 acre feet divided by the 53% for the depletion and gives us 9.36 acre feet remaining in our diversion. So 1.4 plus 9.36 does not equal 12, okay? But he can now irrigate 2.34 acres of land. And that will keep him in compliance with both his diversion and his depletion, which is either this equal to or less than. Okay. So now his total diversion, instead of 12 acre feet, is going to be 10.76 acre feet, so that he does not enlarge his depletion beginning amount, his historical depletion amount. So yes, his diversion amount is reduced to account for the depletion of the 100% for the 50 head of livestock. I'm going to put it in a table to kind of explain it a little more. So the historical use was 3 acres. The diversion amount for 3 acres is 12 acre feet. We have a depletion rate of 53%, so our depletion amount is 6.36 acre feet. Okay, our proposed uses, we have 2.34 acres. That's what he can irrigate. From our previous figures, the 50 head of livestock, 1.4 acre feet. The 2.34 acres has a 9.36 diversion rate because the 2.34 times 4, okay? And then you do the depletion rate, 100% for the livestock, 53% for the irrigation portion. And so this is in compliance when you add up the depletion amount for those 2 uses, it does equal the 6.36 acre feet. If we had not taken that into account and just kept the diversion rate at 12 acre feet, it's going to, so here we are, the 6.36 acre feet. If we said, we're not going to take depletion into account, we're just going to go straight across and keep our 12 acre feet irrigation or diversion, our depletion now, with the 50 head of livestock being 100% depleted, is 7.02 acre feet, which exceeds our historical 6.36 by 0.66 acre feet. So you, in effect, have tried to enlarge this water right just based on changing your uses. Any questions on this? Dang. Okay, wait for the microphone, please.
That's important to remember, and I know why. I don't know why you hate this depletion.
Because I
stuff,
get beat up over this all the time.
This is why I hate it, because if you take some stock water right and convert it to irrigation, it goes at 100%. But then if you try to convert it back to stock water use, you cannot convert it back to what it was before, because that would be an enlargement of the water right, correct?
If that change application transferring it to stock watering has been perfected, that is correct. Yes.
Okay.
Because you are certificated and your certificate now becomes the ruling document of your water right, and it becomes the limitations of your water right. So yes.
So if you're going to change your water rights, if you take the stock water right and convert it to irrigation, just remember, if you try to take it back, you're going to lose some water.
If
So
that change application has
that
been
makes
perfected.
the stock water rights pretty valuable just to leave them the way they are.
Now, if your change application changing it from livestock to irrigation is not perfected and you decide you don't want it, you just withdraw that change application and it reverts back to the way it was, and you have not lost any depletion. It just reverts back and it's just the way it was before. The trick there is, has that change application been perfected? Okay, any other questions on that? Okay, so an important element of your application is your application map. This application map, we have an awesome tool on our website called Application Map Wizard. It used to be you had to get your ruler and your plat map out and do the best you could. Now it's all computerized electronically. It's beautiful. But on your application map, you need to show the approximate location of your point of diversion and the approximate location of where the water will be used. Okay. So the application map wizard is available on our applications forms link right from our main home page. And Jim, you're doing that tomorrow. We'll show you that tomorrow. This will allow you to select that point of diversion and that place of use from an aerial photo and print a map to accompany your application. So it can be generated with signature lines, or you can turn the signature lines off. If your map comes in with your application, then you don't have to sign the map unless we request clarification on the map, or if you forgot to send in the map and it's coming in separately from your application, then that map does need to be signed. So the application map wizard map is not acceptable as a proof map. Don't think that you're going to sneak by that, yeah, I surveyed that using your map wizard. Doesn't work. Okay. Any questions on that? Okay, so this is a sample application map. This one, for instance, has the signature block on it, so it could be signed. If that's blank, if it came in with the application, again, that is fine. If it comes in separate or it's one that we requested clarification, that would need to be signed. So our place of use on our application is, I'm sorry, that's so small and I'm so old. Northwest of the northeast and the northeast of section 31, because it crosses this blue line, which is the quarter section line. So on your application, it's listing both of those quarter sections. This map will narrow that down and show us where the actual place of use is. And so this is the parcel line highlighted, and this is your parcel where you'll be using the water. So that narrows it down from 80-acre tracts to 40-acre tracts to the actual parcel where you'll be using it. This A here, this pink, that is your point of diversion. Okay, and that list down here, that will tell you that point of diversion by public land survey. That should exactly match your application. Okay. You can also do a lot of research using our mapping system. It brings up aerial photo during using ESRI. So if you have an aerial photo, you do need to be able to identify or locate where you are using that aerial in order for this to be very helpful to you. But you can change the base map. So the default is the aerial photo. You can change it to topo or USGS topograph maps. This star here is just a blow up here to show Horseshoe Bend in Duchesne County under the topo. You can change the base map to roads. You can change it to historical to show historical use, or there's all different kinds of base maps you can change your view to show to help you identify in your researching. Also, okay, so we just pulled up this map, okay? The red icons are points of diversion, they're wells. The blue ones are also points of diversion, but those are surface sources. A spring could be a different shade of blue, or sometimes they're even listed as red. But for most purposes, the red are wells, okay? This has a 2 here, this has a 4 here. That just means that there are 2 water rights associated with that point of diversion. There are 4 water rights associated with that point of diversion. So if you click on one of those well icons and it has more than 1 water right, it brings up, if you click on it, it's going to bring up this box. If it's just 1 water right will be listed. This one has 2. This is a hyperlink that if you click on either one of those water rights, it will open the water right page for that water right, and you can get more information on that water right just by clicking that link. The white lines here are parcel lines, which is a layer you can turn on. If you turn on parcel lines and nothing shows up and it says not shown at this scale, you just zoom in and they should show up. These ones that are checked are the ones that are active on our map right now. You can either turn them off or you can turn others on. There's just a lot of information here, and you can just play with it and get just a lot of information when you're researching for water rights. Also, so this tab here is where you go to change your base map from the aerial to the USGS topo, or wherever you want to change would be that base map. We also have a search button that you can do different types of searches. If you know the water right number, you can type that in, the change application number exchange, you type that in, and that will bring up the point of diversion and place of use and zoom you to that location. You can search by address. On the address search, it does need to be a valid address, and you do need to list the city. You do not need to list the city and zip code. The county parcel, you need to know which county it's in, and you need to know the parcel number. Sometimes if you enter it and it says no parcel found, you can try, if you've put dashes in on the parcel number, you can try taking the dashes out and see if it'll come up. Or if you did not put dashes in, you can try putting the dashes in and see if that will come up. I do not think Duchesne County parcel search is available still. But most other counties are. I had somebody call yesterday looking for a parcel in Salt Lake County. Salt Lake County actually has usually extra 4 zeros that doesn't show on the parcel number, and if you don't put those 4 zeros on, it will not come up. So if you're searching Salt Lake County and nothing comes up, try adding 4 extra zeros at the end. You can search by public land survey location. So if you know the point of diversion but you don't know the water right, you can put in that point, you can put in that public land survey and that will bring that up. You can search by latitude, longitude, UTM coordinates. Our dam safety section has things there that you can pull up. Tools, I don't think that's up. Tools is where you go to actually print the map if you want to print it. You can annotate it, or you can do measurements for distance, or you can measure like a polygon to see how many acres. I don't think those print, but it will give you a rough idea of where that is. So any questions on anything we've talked about? So we talked about elements common to all applications, intro to public land survey, basic water right calculations, how to use the division's website to create an application map. Any questions? We good? Yes, Jim, we have a question. Please wait for the mic.
Is this Macintosh friendly? Because I have a lot of problems sometimes getting into certain of the links.
That would be a James question, I think.
So I just wondered if you'd had other people comment on that certain aspects of it aren't as usable for Macs.
Yeah, and I know our program works probably best in Chrome, right? Or IE. I don't know about Mac.
Well, I mean the Mac operating system,
right.
Apple versus PC.
Right.
Yeah.
And so James, we'll let the mic guy handle that one.
We try to make it as best to work in all the different platforms and browsers, and it definitely works better on a PC than it does on a Mac, because we test ourselves mostly on PCs. But if people do find problems on Macs or different operating systems and they let us know, we'll try to resolve those issues.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, woohoo, we're done. Well, I'm done. Good luck tomorrow, by the way.
Hey, James, we did have one quick question. Let's see if we can get this answered, probably for Willa here. Where do you go to find out your area's irrigation rate of depletion? I've got a mic here if you want.
Okay, we have a crop consumptive use report done by Dr. Robert Hill from Utah State University. That book is available on our website, and you would just find the closest gauging station to where you're wanting to do it and go into that data. We do base that on alfalfa. So there's a list, there's a table of different ways to figure different diversion amounts. We do use the alfalfa one, but it is water use consumptive report, I think is what it's called, by Dr. Robert Hill.
There's also a layer on the map server that you can put in irrigation values, and it'll pull up a map and it'll show you the boundaries, whether it's a 3 acre foot, 4, 5, or 6. So